0000. Why Maureen McCormick won't watch her 1969 TV show episode. On August 5, 1956, Maureen Denise McCormick was born in a quiet Encino neighborhood. Los Angeles' San Fernando Valley is home to this location. Her birth impacted millions through TV, music, and theater. Hours 32. Her American family was tight and loving. Schoolteacher William McCormick was her father. He valued education and discipline. He liked studying and instilled it in his kids. Mother Irene McCormick took care of the family at home. The house was run with love, kindness, and strength. She fostered creativity in their home. 0102. Maureen was the only female and youngest of four. Her older brothers Michael, Dennis, and Kevin watched and played with her. Her early family life shaped her humor, independence, and strength. Maureen attended Woodland Hills Taft High. She studied and became increasingly interested in acting. 129. She loved entertaining even as a student. She had a huge imagination and was skilled at performing since childhood. She enjoyed music and dancing. She practiced in front of the mirror for hours or performed small plays. 149. Making extravagant puppet shows for her local kids was one of her favorite childhood activities. She handcrafted puppets, designed scenery, and wrote stories. Young Maureen fascinated audiences with her stories. This girl, she showed people her future creativity. 0212. She had her first major break at 6. Maureen won Baby Miss San Fernando Valley, changing her life. This early fame wasn't just a title that would fade, it was a gateway to entertainment. Winning this event gave her opportunities that set her apart from other kids. In 1964, Maureen made her national TV debut in Mattel Toys ads. She lent her adorable visage to Barbie and Chatty Cathy. She captivated Americans with her brilliant blue eyes, lively smile, and natural acting. Her visage became familiar in homes worldwide. 0303. An updated Chatty Cathy doll from 1970 uses her voice. This strengthened her connection to childhood memories for many followers. In the late 1960s, Maureen began acting on TV. She was steadily establishing herself in acting. 2 episodes of Bewitched, a popular fantasy comedy, featured her. This series charmed viewers with amazing pleasure and family life. 335. Bewitched was one of the most viewed shows at the time, and Maureen showed she could fit in with established performers. She also guested on Honey West, My 3 Sons, The Farmer's Daughter, and I Dream of Jeannie. Even though her performances were brief, they displayed her versatility and expanding range as a young actress. 80403. After being picked from over 200 young girls to play Marcia Brady in 1969, Maureen's life changed forever. On the Brady Bunch, this was the oldest daughter. She was the ideal teen with her all-American beauty, elegance, and charm. 0426. Beautiful, confident, and responsible. Based on a blended family, Robert Reed and Florence Henderson played the parents of 6 children from prior marriages. Maureen became famous and iconic as Marcia Brady. She became a teenage idol due to her popularity. 0448. It ran on ABC for 5 great seasons from 1969 to 1974. Later, it was shown on multiple channels, leaving a decades-long legacy. Maureen's fame skyrocketed during the show's run. She was loved by fans of all ages and was featured in teen magazines, interviews, and public appearances, though 5 feet 13 inches. Besides acting, her singing talents were shown during the show's musical episodes. This led to making recordings with the cast and doing live performances. Maureen's image as Marcia became the same thing as wholesome American girlhood. She continued to embrace that legacy even as she dealt with the complicated parts of growing up under the spotlight. Guerrero 536. In 1970, while still riding high on her fame from the Brady Bunch, Maureen lent her voice once again to the Chatty Cathy doll. This time, it was a new and improved version of the popular toy. Maureen's voice added a familiar, comforting sound that connected with children who had watched her grow up on screen. 0558. Even after the Brady Bunch ended, Maureen's portrayal of Marcia Brady continued to have a lasting impact. The show's success led to many spin-offs, including The Brady Brides in 1981 and The Brady Girls Get Married, a made-for-TV movie that premiered the same year. These projects allowed Maureen to revisit the beloved character and reconnect with her loyal fan base. 0625. However, when The Bradys, a more serious continuation of the series, was launched in 1990, Maureen was unable to play her role as Marcia again because of personal responsibilities. She had recently become a mother and chose to put her family first at that important time in her life. In the years following the Brady Bunch, Maureen continued to work steadily in television. 0650. She made appearances on a wide variety of hit shows, showing her ability to adapt and her dedication to her craft. Her guest roles included appearances on Donnie and Marie, The Love Boat, Happy Days, Vega, Fantasy Island, and Streets of San Francisco. She also appeared in movies such as Skate Town, USA in 1979, A Vacation in Hell in 1979, The Idol Maker in 1980, and the horror comedy Return to Horror High in 1987 to 0721. Each role showed her willingness to try different types of shows and movies, and take on new challenges beyond the Brady character. Maureen also returned to her musical roots through stage performances, starring in several theater productions. In the 1980s and 1990s, she earned praise for her stage roles, including the adventurous and caring Wendy Darling in Peter Pan and the tough and charismatic Betty Rizzo in Grease. 0750. These roles allowed her to express her love for live performance and reconnect with her passion for singing and dancing. Notably, she was also the first actress to play Rebecca Crane in the long-running soap opera Passions, further proving her range and ability as a dramatic performer. In 2008, Maureen returned to the spotlight in a new and surprising way. 0814. She joined the cast of the CMT reality show Gone Country, which featured celebrities competing to become country music stars. Her involvement in the show showed not only her enduring talent, but also her willingness to embrace reinvention. Her performance on the show was well received and led to a spin-off series titled Outsiders in which she opened and operated a bed and breakfast in Newport, Tennessee. 0841. The show offered viewers a glimpse of her real-life personality, funny, caring, and down-to-earth, and showed her entrepreneurial spirit. In 2009, she made a memorable appearance at the Comedy Central roast of Larry the Cable Guy, delighting audiences with her comedic timing and self-deprecating humor. Low 902. Around the same time, she made a nostalgic cameo as Marcia Brady in a special episode of the medical comedy drama Scrubs, a performance that was met with cheers from longtime fans who cherished her iconic role. In 2016, Maureen took on another challenge that introduced her to a whole new generation of viewers. She joined season 23 of Dancing with the Stars, one of television's most popular competitive reality shows. 0932. Paired with professional dancer Artem Chigvintsev, Maureen captivated audiences with her grace, determination, and positive spirit. Despite tough competition, the pair finished in 8th place. But more importantly, Maureen earned admiration for her vulnerability and willingness to confront past personal struggles in the public eye. On March 16, 1985, Maureen McCormick married Michael Cummings, an actor and businessman who would prove to be a steady and grounding presence in her life during some of her most difficult years. Their relationship began at a 11 time when Maureen was still battling the lingering effects of years of emotional pain, addiction, and instability. But Michael's quiet strength and unwavering support helped her begin a new chapter. Their wedding meant more than just a romantic union. It symbolized the beginning of her journey toward healing, stability, and personal redemption. 10A36 together, they built a life anchored in love, trust, and resilience. In 1989, the couple welcomed their only child, a daughter named Natalie Michelle Cummings. The birth of Natalie brought immense joy to Maureen's life and became one of the most important turning points for her. Becoming a mother gave her a renewed sense of purpose and responsibility, prompting her to recommit herself to sobriety and emotional wellness. 11 For the experience of taking care of her daughter deepened Maureen's understanding of unconditional love and gave her a reason to keep moving forward, no matter how difficult the road became. After marrying Michael and becoming a mother, Maureen bravely faced the personal demons that had haunted her for years. 1124. She voluntarily sought therapy to work through long-standing issues related to her struggles with addiction, low self-esteem, depression, and the intense pressures of childhood stardom. Her time in rehabilitation and counseling was not easy. There were relapses, doubts, and dark days. But she remained committed to her recovery. Through this process, she learned the value of forgiving herself, acceptance, and emotional honesty. 1153. As part of her treatment, Maureen was prescribed antidepressant medications, such as Prozac, to help stabilize her mood and address her mental health challenges. While some people view medication as a last resort, Maureen embraced it as a valuable tool in her recovery toolkit. It enabled her to manage the intense emotional swings she had experienced for years, and gave her the clarity to reflect on her life and move forward with renewed strength. 1222. The medications coupled with therapy and a strong support system helped her regain control of her thoughts and emotions. Even decades after it first aired, there is one episode of The Brady Bunch that Maureen McCormick has firmly refused to watch, and her reasons are as emotional as they are deeply personal. 1243. The episode in question is titled Juliet is the Sun, which originally aired in 1969 during the first season of the iconic family sitcom. In this episode, Marcia Brady, the bright, popular oldest daughter played by McCormick, gets the lead role of Juliet in a school production of Romeo and Juliet. The plot focuses on Marcia's overwhelming excitement and growing ego after being cast in the part, and how her behavior begins to affect those around her, especially her siblings. 1317. The story was created to teach a lesson about humility and the importance of staying grounded even when praise comes pouring in. On the surface, it was just another lighthearted episode meant to entertain and educate like so many others in the series. But for Maureen McCormick, filming this particular episode would leave a mark that never quite faded. 1340. Behind the scenes, 13-year-old Maureen was struggling with the pressures of fame and growing up. Although she appeared to be the picture-perfect Marcia Brady, confident, beautiful, and always composed, the young actress was beginning to feel the weight of living up to an idealized image. During the production of Juliet is the Sun, Maureen was extremely self-conscious about her appearance, particularly the close-up scenes that emphasized her facial expressions and features. 1413. She later admitted in interviews that she felt vulnerable and exposed during the episode, especially in a scene where she wears a dramatic flowing Juliet costume and delivers exaggerated lines with theatrical flair. Though audience saw it as charming and funny, Maureen remembered feeling ridiculous and over the top. In fact, she was so uncomfortable that she would cry after watching dailies. Unedited footage from filming. 1441. Her discomfort with the performance became deeply embedded in her mind, making the episode a source of shame rather than pride. Adding to her emotional pain, McCormick was also battling growing insecurities that would eventually develop into serious mental health issues in her later teens and early adulthood. 1502. This episode symbolized to her not just a moment of awkwardness, but a time when she felt increasingly disconnected from her true self. In her memoir, Here's the Story, Surviving Marcia Brady and Finding My True Voice, McCormick opened up about how episodes like Juliet is the Sun became difficult reminders of the gap between her public persona and her private struggles. 1527. She described how she would obsess over every perceived flaw in her performance, her voice, her posture, even the way she held her hands, all of which led to a kind of perfectionism that became mentally exhausting. Watching that episode now, she explained, would be like stepping back into a moment of raw vulnerability that she has worked hard to move beyond. 1550. There's also a symbolic layer to her avoidance of this episode. For McCormick, Juliet is the Sun represents a time when her identity was being shaped by the expectations of others, by producers, fans, and the cultural image of Marcia Brady. In many ways, it marked the beginning of her internal struggle to separate Maureen, the real girl with real emotions, from Marcia, the polished television character adored by millions. 1621. She has often said that she appreciates the show's legacy and the joy it brought to audiences, but this one episode stands apart, a reflection not of joy, but of personal doubt and confusion. Her refusal to watch it is not an act of bitterness or rejection, but rather an act of emotional self-protection, preserving her mental well-being and honoring the growth she has made since those formative years. Chapter 1647. To this day, even as she has spoken fondly of her time on the Brady Bunch and reconnected with many of her former castmates for reunions and retrospectives, Maureen McCormick has openly stated that she has no plans to revisit Juliet is the Sun. It remains a private corner of her past that she chooses not to reopen. Instead, she focuses on the strength she has gained since then through therapy, faith, motherhood, and a hard-won journey to self-acceptance. 17-18. What might seem like a simple teenage television episode to most people is to her a powerful symbol of a complicated chapter in a young girl's life, one she has gently left in the past.